Pigweed here. Today we review an Imperial stout and discuss Christmas music. Hello and welcome to Beer and Conversation with Pigweed and Crowhill. Good evening, Crowhill.
Good evening, Pigweed.
So, what's on your mind?
Well, I want to ask you about a scenario.
Yeah.
You find out that a child is shivering in the cold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Now,
Yeah.
what do you want to bring that child?
Oh, some, blankets, get him up to a warm fire, maybe some warm
Some soup, maybe?
milk. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Blankets and soup.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's not a child
Right.
shivers in the cold. Let us bring him silver and gold.
So he can go buy his own blankets?
Yeah. Silver and gold. That's if I'm a child shivering in the cold. I want blankets. soup.
Excellent. Is it warm silver and gold? Probably
Right.
not.
Is it going to warm me up? I'm cold here.
Don't know what money is.
That's it's a lovely song, but that line just always bugs me. It's like that's not what you do for a child who's shivering in the cold. Anyway,
Very
there you
good
go.
point. Very good point.
Okay, so we've reviewed this before, I believe,
I believe we have.
but it's Christmas time, and we're talking about Christmas music, and Candy Cane Imperial Stout just seemed like the right thing.
Now, it's the patriarchy. We
Long live the
near
patriarchy.
dear to our hearts. Long live the patriarchy.
Yes.
And this is the first repeat, right? So I think they're on maybe their 20th or 25th edition.
Yeah.
And what do we have here?
This is edition 14.
This is old 14.
So we got to it a while
I
ago.
don't think any of these have been repeated, but
Now
I think
note
there's such
this. This is interesting. Usually these guys are over 8. This
They're
is
usually
7.5.
8.5.
Yeah, this is 7.5.
Yes,
So-
well, Santa.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of work to do. Probably drinks this beer. And it's a Candy Cane Imperial
Candy
Stout.
Cane Imperial Stout.
And I'm getting Candy Cane right off the top.
I get it on the nose. I'm not getting it in my mouth all that much.
Yeah, that's minty. I'm getting some minty, which doesn't sound good, but trust me on this one. Yes, it sounds like the flavor you'd get by drinking Imperial Stout right after brushing your teeth.
Yes,
But
there's a little bit of that.
I like that. I like that mint. I'm not sure how you get mint in a beer. As a home brewer, I'm not sure what you would do, but
I have to slosh it around in my mouth a bit to get the minty flavor. If I just if I sip it, I don't really get the mint. I gotta maybe it's some other taste buds or something. I don't know how that
Yes, I recommended it to a friend, and he's like, I don't know about mint in your beer. What's it taste like? I said, it tastes like Santa's beard. He said, all right, I'll try it.
That's a funny reaction. It tastes like Santa's beard. Okay, I'll try it. Wow. All right, so how do you want to start getting into Christmas music?
Well, how about we had this discussion, and I've had discussion with other people, most wonderful time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And scary ghost stories and tales of the glories, and I was like, what are you talking about here? Well, what? So give me yours, because I got some more info today.
Okay, when I used to hear there'll be scary ghost stories and tales, and I would always think, what in the world does Christmas have to do with scary ghost stories? And it
Right.
took me a long time to realize they're talking about A Christmas Carol.
Are they though?
That's what I'm assuming.
I got some new intel.
Okay.
Now this doesn't contradict yours, but I'm going to flesh it out a little bit here.
Okay, yeah.
It says ghost stories were an integral part of the Victorian Christmas.
Huh.
Right around the fire, they were a popular home amusement in those households that could not afford the expense of a theater or concert. But the ghostly tales of some guy, M.R. James, for instance, were originally composed for reading on Christmas Eve. And later on, some other Victorian dudes writes, quote, whenever 5 or 6 English-speaking people meet around a fire on Christmas Eve, they start telling each other ghost stories.
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
it's actually part of a Victorian tradition.
Wow.
Where, but doesn't contradict Christmas Carol. So
Maybe
it falls
Christmas
right
Carol
into
was
it.
just one iteration.
And
of
right,
this,
and
yeah.
he was like, this is the kind of
thing you do for
this
Christmas.
is the kind of
yeah.
thing you do. So
Yeah.
okay, so there you go, kids. That's
Well, now I want to get to M.R. James's book and read a couple of his ghost stories.
Yeah, ghost stories that are meant to be read.
Yeah.
At Christmas time.
So my granddaughter was going to see, apparently, a family, their tradition is to go see the Christmas Carol every year.
Yeah.
And they drive fair distance to this theater and watch it performed live. And my granddaughter was going, and I said, it's a little scary. There are ghosts and stuff in this story. And she was like, she was a little nervous, but she enjoyed it.
Oh, good.
Everything worked out well. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll come back to A Christmas Carol
Okay.
later on because I think that's good. Now the other thing that's going on in that song are the gay happy meetings.
Yes.
And which is it's another way. You know how the left ruins everything.
They ruin all the words.
So now what used to be just people gathering around
Yeah.
now seems like a grinder hookup in an interstate bathroom. Gay happy meetings. Anyway, the other one I like is for a weird reason, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Yeah.
Do you remember the summer commercial, Walmart commercial? First, so it catches you off guard when you hear the song being played in August.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, what's up with that? And then these parents are gleefully shopping through Walmart. Oh, because it's back to school shopping.
Oh.
And the most wonderful time of the year is when the kids go back to school.
Oh, is that the one that says, no, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, and Mom and Dad can hardly wait for school to start again?
Yes, right.
I've never liked that line, personally, because, I like having the kids around.
Right.
That's why I had kids. I like to have them around, But,
yeah, right. But they shifted it to the summer and the beginning of the school year as an ad bit. And
most wonderful time is to get them out of the house.
But geez, I've had these kids in the house for
Too
3
much.
months, for crying out loud. So, good song. Let's. I'm a sucker for the traditionals and performed by the traditionals.
Yeah. So I divided good songs into a couple of categories: to sing, to listen to,
All right.
and to dance to.
Okay.
Okay. So singing, I'm not going to be singing "Maybe It's Cold Outside" or anything like that. But they're to sing. I like "Good Christian Men Rejoice."
Right.
I divide the ones that I like to sing into a couple categories too. There's the fun, happy ones, like "Good Christian Men Rejoice," "God Rest You Merry Gentlemen," "Ding Dong Merrily on High," "Deck the Halls." Those are all upbeat, fun, happy songs.
Yeah.
Then there are other ones that are a little more laid back, like "Once in a Royal David City." I like "Away in a Manger," "Good King Wenceslas." There's one, I don't know if you know this song, but you got to listen to it sometime. "Let All Mortal Flesh Keep Silence."
Can't say that I have.
Yeah, it's this slow, spooky, very deep. It's a really cool song. You know, to listen. It makes you think of an Orthodox church with incense and the smells and the bells and everything. It's a cool song. And one similar to that is called "The Angel Gabriel," "Of the Father's Heart Begotten." Those are the kinds of songs that you would hear in a traditional Lutheran church around Christmas, that sort of thing. So those are my favorites.
In the associations.
Yeah.
So I would say, so when I think of the Bing Crosby, Judy Garland,
Yeah.
I like the updated versions of those, but I need to hear the old ones because Christmas is about tradition, and the older songs just make you feel like they've been around for a while. I guess in the same way that those religious songs have that, have some history to them.
Right. Yes.
Now I do like the newer ones too, but I need a healthy dose of sleigh bells and sleigh rides.
Sure,
the
yeah.
40s and 50s.
So those are the ones I like to sing, but in terms of the ones I like to listen to, by the way, one of the ones that I don't particularly like to sing is "Oh Holy Night." It's a little show-offy. I don't like that one. And "Little Drummer Boy," I've never been a huge fan of. But to listen to, I like "Let It Snow," "Winter Wonderland," "Jingle Bell Rock."
Yep.
The Christmas song, Nat King Cole, especially his version of the Christmas song, "Chestnuts Roasting," that one.
Yeah. Right, because in those old ones, there's, like I said, I don't mind the covers. Yes, enjoy yourselves.
Yeah.
But there's also the special, right? Like Sleigh Ride,
Yes.
the Ronettes.
Yes.
You're right. It's like, other people can do it, but sometimes I just want to hear, like you said, the Nat King Cole version.
Yes.
Is the one that nails it.
Yes. "Carol of the Bells" is a good one. I love the entire Peanuts Christmas album.
Okay.
I just love the jazz piano on that. It's really, really good. I heard a few today that I'm not at all a fan of. Christmas Kaboom. I don't know if you've heard that one. And then Christmas Angels Cheer Along. And it just turned me off right from the beginning. The artist is Henry Janier or something like that. And this is a little bit of a sidelight. If somebody learned to music playing the piano,
Right.
they usually don't have a good sense of rhythm because they're playing by themselves. They don't have to keep up with anybody. Right? They're usually just playing by themselves.
Gotcha.
But if you play an instrument, you're usually playing with a band, so you have to keep with the rhythm.
Right. So you're right. If your instrument is the bass, there's not a lot of just self-basing going on.
Exactly. Yes. You're playing. You learn to hear the rhythm and you learn to keep up with it. For piano players,
That's a good point.
they speed up when it's easy and they slow down when it's hard, and they don't really stick to the tempo, and it drives me nuts. And this guy does that on several of the songs I listen to. So.
In Sleigh Ride, there's a couple of lyrics things that are fun.
Now, Sleigh Ride, the Sleigh Ride we always played in band, the instrumental version of Sleigh Ride. But there's also the...
It'll nearly be like a picture print by Courier and Ives.
Yeah.
I do not know what I was singing for most of my life.
You didn't know it was Courier and Ives?
I didn't know, or I might have been saying something like that. No idea, like thinking to myself, I'm just saying syllables.
Yes.
Before I was like, oh, okay, so this is a tradition of Americana landscapes.
Yeah,
That were very popular in the late 1900s. I just put it up and I
Yes, it's really funny when that happens. It's like
when you discover the melody.
Yes. When you've been listening to a song for a long time and all of a sudden something clicks and you go, that's what he's saying.
Gosh, when I was a kid, I didn't know what a Courier and Ives was.
Yes.
So I just said some things.
Yes.
There's no place like home for the holiday. That one's good, but from the Atlantic to Pacific, gee, the traffic is terrific. I have always thought that's nobody actually uses terrific
in that sense. Yeah.
Terrific is always such a positive thing, but these means severe.
Terrific and almost like terrible.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. Right,
yeah.
like a day like today, where it's been raining all day. Like, so how's the weather? I guess the rain has been terrific. What? I mean, you like it, but I almost want it to happen that you can use terrific to just mean intensely or severely or...
Well, it's like any of the all words. Awesome, awful. Because awful was meant something that would create awe.
Yes.
Not necessarily something that's terrible.
Right. We had to switch to awe-inspiring because
awful.
But it sounds like full of awe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Awesome. There are a lot of words like that where kind of the old meaning has gotten lost and we switched it over to something else. Yeah.
In Winter Wonderland, what's the Parson Brown line? Parson Brown can get marry us.
In the meadow we can build a snowman and pretend that he is Parson Brown. Right, yeah.
So, but the Eurythmics had a version where they cut out Parson Brown.
Yeah.
And I was like...
Dean Martin did the same thing.
It's not like there's any... It's not like a PC, like, we better skip the whole Parson Brown thing. I'm like, what's wrong with Parson? I mean, it's not a real person. It's just the idea that...
We want to get married, so we're going to pretend that the snowman is a pastor, yeah.
Right, so, but is a parson like a low-level, like small village type?
He's just a local priest guy.
Yeah, you're right, right.
So the idea is you're going to pretend the snowman is the parson, so you can pretend to get married because you love each other.
I know. In the snow and there's love in the air.
Yes.
And why would you trade him in for a circus clown?
I don't know, but that's not a recent PC.
Oh,
thing,
it isn't.
Because I heard like an old 1940s version. Dean Martin, he changes it for circus clown. So I guess it's just one of those. There's different lyrics for the song.
I just don't see why Parson Brown.
It's
almost like I don't know. There's something problematic about Parson Brown that maybe we ought to. I do too.
I hate that word.
I do too, and it's one of those.
You hear it all the time.
I've been keeping a list of. It's under my list of anachronisms.
Yeah.
So I'll be with my son. I'll see a show that's set in the 80s, and I'll go, and somebody goes, seriously?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going, son, nobody ever said that. and it's every time, the Goldbergs, if you ever watched the Goldbergs,
No.
set in the 80s, every single show, I'm like, nobody ever said that in the 80s. And, but I'm keeping a list of speech terms and phrases that are only within the last 5 or 10 years, and problematic is within the last 2 years, and everybody uses it.
So today I was listening to a podcast, and they were advertising a different podcast, which was about problematic women. Yeah. Like, okay, whatever. I'm over that word. I don't like it.
Now, I have recent as in like very recent.
Yeah.
But then the kind of recent, I'm talking about since I was aware, like since my teen years.
Okay.
There are some other, that work themselves into the canon.
Yeah.
That the simply having the Paul McCartney.
That one's a little trite, but yes, it's still an enjoyable song.
I think that there are a lot of what have become part of the tradition. That are not part of the classics, that are sort of recent classics, I would say, post. Do you know, as far as country goes, I would say my favorite is Dolly Parton's Hard Candy Christmas.
Oh, I don't know that one.
You know that? Well, listen out for it, because you'll hear it. But it's very good.
All I Want for Christmas Is You, which is by Mariah Carey, has apparently become a big thing.
That is one of the big, I would say that and Last Christmas.
Yes.
Of the last 20 years are probably the most.
Yeah, well, I have a little confession to make here. Back when I was 16 and then when I was 17, or when I was 17 and then when I was 18. It's not really clear to me. I ended up having a breakup right around Christmas time, 2 years in a row.
Okay. Bummer.
Bummer. And that kind of spoiled Christmas for me for like a few years. Like every Christmas. So 1 year, and then the next year, and then like 2 years following, just the same feelings would come back. Just like,
then you associate a time of year with a certain.
So that's another theme that you see in Christmas songs. You have the romance theme that we can pretend that he's Parson Brown, and there's the love, there's the good romance side, and there's also the bad romance side, and both of them work into a lot of common Christmas songs.
Right, but you don't have a lot of depressing Christmas songs.
Well, no, I'll have a Blue Christmas, I guess.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Which
I like the Porky Pig version of that one, by the way.
Oh, jeez.
Have you heard the Porky Pig? That was pretty good.
Now I have down here. Well, so for very recent, do you know Justin Bieber's Mistletoe?
I just listened to it today, and I gotta say, I'm not a huge fan of Justin Bieber, but the man is phenomenally talented.
He is. So he's one of those people that early on you're like, oh gosh, just another cutie boy,
exactly,
romper room. I mean, Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah.
And then you realize, wow, guy's got some skills.
He's very,
the other experience I had like that was when everybody was all goo goo gaga about this new kid, Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic. I'm like, oh gosh, a little pretty boy for all the high school girls.
Yeah.
It's turned into just one of the most solid, stable, respectable actors ever. When I watched the movie, I was like, never mind. Yeah. This kid's got something, and as long as he doesn't.
And along those lines, I've never been a fan of Lady Gaga, but she's just amazingly talented. And I remember one time I was watching this video where she was playing something, and she did some improvisation on the song that was just genius. And I was talking to a friend, our friend Matthew, and he was like, making fun of Lady Gaga, and I said, watch this video and then tell me what you think. Because she's kind of a freak, and I'm not into that sort of thing. Yeah. But she's so talented.
And then she was in Star is Born. She was in Gucci, I saw recently, and I think she's going to be in the new what do they call the Joker. The Joker is getting a second one. She's going to be in.
Some of these people, like Ariana Grande, just astonishingly talented people.
You're like, gosh, Disney.
I guess it's because they grew up and Disney knew what to do with them, and I'm not sure.
Right, or the people there are so good at identifying talent. They're like,
weeding them out.
no,
Right.
yeah, I know she's only 12, but trust me,
Yeah, this is the one.
We're gonna bank on this one.
Right.
And Sia.
You know,
Did you-
I did listen to that song today, and I watched the video.
The cute little the snowman.
I love the song. I love the video. I'm not particularly enamored of her style of singing. There's something about her voice that not quite exactly what I like, but I like the song. It's a very nice song.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I do like that, but there's a certain affectation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. But she does an entire 20-song original Christmas album that's 2 years old.
Yeah.
And everything I've heard of is great.
Really?
So
okay. Well,
so I would say
let's check
that
it out.
for my recent. Now I have kids and grandkids, young kids and grandkids. Which is a weird combination, but I do. And as far as kids songs go, and I'll get into some older kids songs.
Okay.
Do you know Christmas is Creepy?
I don't know Christmas is creepy. No.
Yeah, yes, because if Santa Claus snuck in my house, that would be creepy. If snowmen came to life, that would be.
Okay.
Right. So the whole song is like, you know what?
If my dead business partner came up and knocked on the door, that
he
would
says
be
it's really
creepy.
weird. It's like a fake beard. So that's funny. The kids all like that one.
Sure.
I would say that Waitress's song that we heard the other night, "Christmas by Myself This Year."
Yeah. Right.
That's fantastic. That's from the '80s. I would say, even though this is a repeat, a cover,
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen's "Better Watch Out" is really its own. It's such a fresh take that it's almost its own new, fairly contemporary song.
Yes, it is. It is kind of new. Yeah.
New Father Christmas by the Kinks. That's
I don't know that one. Although I have to
Little
say,
angry, but-
just because you mentioned Christmas does not make it a Christmas song. You know, like met my old lover at the grocery store. Snow was falling Christmas Eve. Okay, that doesn't make it a Christmas song, right?
Yeah.
Just because it happens on
Well,
Christmas.
This is great. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Oh, I know.
Right, so
Everybody argues
there's
about
that argument keeps going on. Right, because there's a Christmas tree in the background during a bank heist or
does
whatever.
not necessarily make it a Christmas movie, right? No, I like Die Hard. It's a good movie, but I think it's a silly argument about whether it's a Christmas movie or not.
You ready to get into songs you just can't stand?
Okay, sure.
Are we there yet? So I think I had done a religious songs question mark. I think you went through most of yours. What else is there? I would say
I'm a little annoyed by
Night.
Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. I'm not a big fan of that.
Silent Night is good. Now, is that a German song? Is that actually...
Silent Night, yeah. So the story behind Silent Night.
Is there a World War One thing? Right?
No, it's a pretty old song. There were
No, but it's the World War One story about Christmas time. That between the trenches.
Oh, that's a different thing.
They're singing. Each side is singing its own version
of Silent Night. Yes, and then they come out and exchange gifts.
And then the officers are like,
"Get back and fight."
All right, next year that ain't happening. I think they also like played soccer.
Yeah. Right.
They're like, all right.
You know,
have this
actually, let's back up just for
Okay.
a minute and just talk. Like, what is Christmas?
Right.
Christmas is obviously a religious holiday, but it's so much more than a religious holiday. It's fun. It's peace on earth. It's think of other people.
Right. So it's also bright lights at the darkest time of the year.
Right.
Right.
Say hello to friends you know and everyone you meet. You know, it's supposed to be a jolly, happy, good time.
True.
Have a cup of cheer. You know, all that sort of thing.
True.
And Christmas is a time where we, as a friend of mine said recently, we set aside being selfish jerks and try to think about other people.
Good.
You know, and that's one of the lovely things about Christmas is here you have these guys who've been sitting in trenches with their feet rotting off, you know, with rats and dead bodies, and then it's Christmas, and they start singing songs, and they come out and they. You know, one guy gives somebody a piece of chocolate, the other guy gives somebody a cigarette, you know, and it's like, you know, hey, what's wrong with this? And so Christmas is just a lovely sentiment about, being kind to other people.
Yep. Exactly. And charity, generosity, exchanging of
exactly.
gifts.
Yeah, right. Thinking about other people. And Christmas time, you're always, you meet somebody, Merry Christmas. You're happy. You say
Yes.
nice things, which is one of the things that annoys me when people get upset about, like, Merry Christmas. Well, I don't celebrate. I don't care if you celebrate Christmas.
Right.
I don't want to offend anybody,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I'm perfectly happy to wish somebody a happy Hanukkah or whatever else,
Yeah.
But when you're wishing somebody, it's kind of like if you sneeze and somebody says, "God bless you." I don't believe in God.
Right.
God, get over yourself,
Right.
for heaven's sakes.
Take it in the spirit with
Yes.
which it was given,
Intended.
right?
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Somebody trying to say
Somebody
something
trying to
right?
say, have a happy season, Right?
I know.
Good grief.
So now that I have grandkids who are in the parody song stage of life,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So that, yes, personally, I am so over Grandma got run over by a reindeer, but now that they're at the age of discovering it, I'm like, I'm not gonna rain on this one here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll go ahead and enjoy it with you because
Just because
you're
at that
you're at the
age.
Weird Al Yankovic stage of your
Yes,
life.
yeah,
So
that's right.
I'm not gonna get now. As far as aggravating songs,
Yes.
feed the world.
Oh gosh.
So this is
I'm
what this
sick
is.
of the
80s
holier than thou songs.
Is 80s famine in Africa.
Yeah.
We're going to raise some money by making some song, right?
Yeah.
And the proceeds go to.
It kind of ties in with the trying to make a big deal out of everything. Like people trying to figure out the morality of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah.
Come on, it's a silly song for children. Why are you upset about this?
Yes, but it's in Feed the World. My favorite is so they're trying to tug on the heartstrings by telling you how rough life is, and this is how rough life is. And there won't be snow in Africa this Christmas.
There will be. There are some pretty high mountains. In
Yeah,
Africa.
but you mean on the equator? Those places? Is that where
Is that where there won't be snow?
Is that how difficult life is in Africa? Okay, the greatest gift they'll get this year is life. So, when nothing ever grows, no rain, no river flows. So,
Okay.
I think if I was in Africa and I go, this is your characterization of
Yeah.
Africa
Come on,
is a
Africa's
place.
not
It's
like
a place
that.
where there's no snow, which basically there isn't, but there is on top of mountains. But we don't experience snow because we live in Africa.
I
And
bet you there's snow in South Africa. It's pretty far down there.
but if you live somewhere in Africa where nothing ever grows, there's no rain or river. Well, then you actually
Then
shouldn't
get
be
out of
living
that
there.
place.
Yes,
You're in
and
the desert.
I'm
Go
sure
someplace
there are
else.
places like that.
Yes.
But that's not why there's a problem down there. It's if you were there, then you shouldn't be there. And do they know it's Christmas time at all? Because it's why the whole continent, which is gigantic if you look at it on a globe once in a while.
Right.
Do
actually-
they even know it's Christmas? Because what? Because there's a famine in Ethiopia?
I know. And actually, Africa is Christianity is growing by leaps and bounds in Africa. So a lot of them, probably more of them, know it's Christmas in Africa than in England.
Yeah.
But
All right. How much snow is in South Africa?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But I know there's
really-
snow on the mountains. Kilimanjaro has snow on it.
yeah. But I don't think Johannesburg, even though it's pretty far down there, but it's not far enough, I don't think, to get
I don't know.
regular
I'll have
snow.
to find
Well,
out.
I'm gonna find
We're gonna have
out.
to find out.
So what
So
else
what,
do I have
what
out
about
of it?
what about
yeah,
this though? Like
geez.
in our culture, so many of the Christmas songs have to do with snow and snowmen.
Oh,
and all
yeah.
that kind. What about if you're in Texas? I was just
What, Australia?
I was just recently in Louisiana,
How was the
and I'm
temperature?
walking along. It was 75 degrees,
Right.
and I'm hearing Christmas songs,
Right.
and it's just
How about-
weird.
Did you walk by stores that had the fake snow sort of around the edges of the glass, as you know,
I
to
don't
give the
recall
impression of it being snowy?
I-
New Orleans
Yeah.
doesn't get a lot.
I don't
of snow.
recall that, but some of the hotels and stores down there were decked out really nicely.
Did they have any
Very.
fake snowman? Or fake, or icicles and snowflakes.
It was mostly
or
lights.
is it contemporary
It was
too?
mostly lights.
All right.
Mostly lights. But it was absolutely beautiful. Some of the places down there
Very nice.
were done very, very nicely. But it is a little weird. Like in Australia, apparently the Christmas tradition is to go out on the beach and have a barbecue.
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Just wondering if they sing the traditional snow-themed songs.
Exactly. What do they sing? What do they sing in Australia?
Or do they just skip that?
Any of our readers, listeners who are...
Think of what we've gone through here. Winter Wonderland, Jingle Bells, Wonderful Time of the Year.
Yeah.
It began to look a lot like Christmas. Everything references cold weather.
Yes. So any of our Aussies out there,
Yes.
tell us what kind of song... What do you sing about, like getting a sunburn? I mean, what do you sing about?
Right. Or do you just sort of forget that aspect of it, just get on with the fun of the song without worrying about the fact that it doesn't really reference your experience?
I don't know. That'd be interesting.
How about some these 50s kiddie songs? Tell me how you feel about.
Okay.
I want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
You know, it's silly, but I think it's. I like it.
I like
kinda
it.
like it. Yeah.
The girl has such a powerful voice.
Yeah, she's
and
very good.
I just keep thinking, did she ever go on to make it big? Because
Right.
She,
Yeah, what
I mean,
happened
it
to her?
was so powerful. She couldn't. She's less than 10, probably.
Yeah.
All I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth.
Yeah, that one's all right.
A little
I like
whistle
the
in the
hippopotamus
thing.
a little better than that one. Yeah.
I'm getting nothing for Christmas.
I'm not sure I know that one.
I'm getting nothing for Christmas because he's been bad all year.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Yeah.
This is all 50s. How about Dominic the Donkey? Do you know Dominic the Donkey?
Dominic the Donkey. I have a vague recollection of
Yeah,
that
I
one.
tell you what, don't even
Don't look it up?
No, because
No?
it'll get in your ear and you'll be very
So
sorry.
when I was a kid, my parents had these 2 LPs of Christmas songs that they would play every year. So I know every song by heart. And I've never...
for the children out there, what are LPs?
Yeah, right. Yeah, big records. And
Frisbees.
yes, and I've never heard those songs anywhere else. I only heard them, on my parents' hi-fi.
Victrola.
Yeah, but never anyplace else. Yeah.
Mommy Kissing Santa Claus.
Yeah, that's a funny one. That's clever.
Okay with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's clever.
So, are you ready to explore this one here?
Let's talk about the controversial songs.
Yes. Is Baby It's Cold Outside kind of rapey?
I have always interpreted it as she's a combination of playing hard to get, and just the basic way that men and women flirt is the man pursues and the woman is like wait, and that's what's going on in this
It's
song.
hard to get. Women are supposed to be hard to get. You're supposed to make him work a little bit at it. And this new modern contemporary no means no means you can only ask a woman out on a date one time, and if you ask her again, it's kind of rapey.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's a no. It's you're a floozy if you accept on the first ask.
Yeah, Mrs. Crowhill said no first time I asked her to marry. So
Okay.
I guess I'm kind of rapey.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I mean, is that the world you people want to live in? That the only way to meet is to swipe through Tinder,
right?
And that's how.
And then agree to the terms of service.
Yes, right. Because if
Yes.
a guy actually comes up to you and asks to buy you a drink in a bar, that's kind of rapey.
I really like that song, and I think it's fun and it's flirty, and it presents an interesting, like the woman is presenting all of these objections, like my mom will be worried, my dad will be pacing the floor, my brother my maiden aunt's mind is vicious. I always thought that was a little rough.
Well,
there,
what the neighbors will think, and then what is it? Hey baby, what's in this drink?
What's in this drink?
All
Well,
right,
that's the one.
That's what they glom onto.
Yeah.
And this is straight up projection. It's like nobody's ever thought of this. What kind of weirdo hears that and goes rape drug?
Right.
What? What
Did
are you saying?
they even have rape drugs back when this song was written? I don't even know if they
Really?
had them. But also, when someone
I mean,
says
what kind of...
when someone says what's in this drink, what they usually either mean is this is a little strong, or this has an interesting flavor that I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's Christmas. Is this nutmeg?
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, right?
Exactly.
It could be anything.
It's
I
not.
think
Are you trying to,
to Bill
drug
Cosby
me?
me here?
Right.
Yeah. So
All right. I got another.
anybody wants to cancel "Baby It's Cold Outside"
Yeah,
needs to
they need to be canceled.
reassess
Yeah, I
their
know.
yeah.
Reassess your life. It's like, yeah. How about this one? Santa Baby.
Yeah. Well,
That's a kind of controversial one.
yes, but it's one where I like Madonna's '80s sort of Long Island fake innocence, but the original Eartha Kitt, you can't beat that. But I like both of them, and yeah, it's a little sexy, and nothing wrong with
It's a little hypergamous, trying to aiming up for somebody who can provide you all kinds of things,
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. All right, so that's good. Have you ever heard of the band Pentatonics?
I can't say that I have, no.
You should check them out. They do a lot of Christmas songs, and they're an a cappella group, and they're really good, and they have some very interesting sounds. And they anyway, look them up. Everybody out there, Pentatonics.
All right.
Pentatonix. Yeah.
Well, if we're done with music, let's go back to the Christmas Carol.
Sure.
A Christmas Carol.
A Christmas Carol. Yes.
So, what is with its endurance? I would like to pursue this for a second because there's no the Chesapeake Shakespeare Theater in downtown Baltimore does a different version every year, and theaters all around the country. Everybody, if you don't have dancers to do Swan Lake,
right,
you're doing a Christmas Carol. So what accounts for its likability? And I tell you what, I sent you that message last night about Spirited, a completely fresh take, but again, deeply rooted, but uniquely different. Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds, but 100% Charles Carroll. What's up with that? What are the elements?
Things can become traditional simply because it's the way things are and we feel like we have to do it.
All right.
But things can also become traditional because they're doggone good and people want to see them over and over again. So which one is it in this case?
Right.
Is it, do people feel some sort of obligation to do that, or do people actually enjoy it?
A little bit of the obligation. Well, the underlying theme, you tell me if this is so strong, is redemption.
Yes.
And is that in 21st century? Yeah. Is that still such a strong motive, such a strong sentiment that we want to see that sentiment repeated? That we can change our lives and we can turn ourselves around and be a better person. Is that such a strong theme? Of course, so it's not it's not like Christmas Carol invented the idea of redemption,
right,
and this is the only way that a redemption tale can be told. But is it a combination of familiarity, a theme that is near and dear to the hearts of everyone,
right,
and the familiarity and the tradition? It's like the combination of the three makes it necessary. Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. It's playing off a archetype or a theme or something that's very that's everybody can tune into that. Everybody knows somebody who's like that or somebody who's a little bit like that, right? And they have hope that they would change, and then you got Tiny Tim, you got all these other different elements of the story that are very, Tiny Tim, you feel sorry for the poor kid, and once Scrooge gets redeemed, he's like, Tiny Tim's going to be fixed out of this too, because he's going to get the best doctors and all those other kind of things. So,
right, and with nobody has more to complain about in this entire story than Tiny Tim, and he never complains.
Exactly.
And his only concern is, can we do something nice for Mr. Scrooge?
That's right.
And if that doesn't tug at the heart,
it's a lovely story. But it's interesting. It's kind of like if you think about things that you do all the time at Christmas. Like, for example, you have eggnog. Okay? Now,
I have no interest in drinking eggnog in the summertime.
No,
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love eggnog.
Yeah,
But
I love it.
I don't want to drink it in the summertime.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah. It's got to be cold, and it's got for whatever reason.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So there are things that you do simply because it's Christmas time, like you get a tree, and you put ornaments on the tree, and you drink eggnog, and you all these other things. So, or you see the Nutcracker, for example. Is the
Right.
Nutcracker like some amazing thing? It's just the Christmas thing to do.
Right. Like, would you go see it in the summertime? No.
No.
I'm sure the dancing is just as good and
Yeah,
everything.
exactly.
But yeah, so there are certain associations that you just.
And they become part of the tradition, and they get passed along, and that's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
I think
Like
that's
said, yeah, right,
that's what makes a culture, is having these kinds of things that we do.
Right. No, everything should be torn down and we start fresh with
No,
all
let's not do
new
that.
holidays.
I know, it's awful. Okay, let me look up a quick run over my notes. And see
Hold
if
on,
I missed
here
anything.
I
Okay.
missed a whole section here
All right.
of songs I hate.
Right.
The Chipmunks.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the
The
Chipmunks.
Barking Dogs doing
Right,
that.
Barking Dogs, I'm
and
not-
do you know New Shoes for Mama?
Yes.
Right, so this is an attempt
Yeah.
at tugging on the
Yeah,
heartstrings.
it is an attempt to tug on the
that
heartstrings.
just fails
Yeah.
completely. I just want to, he doesn't have enough money for some new shoes, and somehow he gets it because, just in case, Mama meets Jesus tonight.
Well, I think the point is that she's either dead or dying.
Yes.
And
yes,
so she has to wear these special shoes in her coffin or something.
She
Yeah.
could be dying at any moment.
Right.
And we're all supposed to get so wispy and teary-eyed
Yeah.
hearing this song, and I'm like, oh, come on.
It doesn't really work for me.
doesn't-
I mean, of course it's horrible that the poor kid's mother is dying.
Yeah,
but still,
I think right. But if that story is told properly, yes, you get a little tear in the eye. But
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Do not care for it. And let me see. No, that's fine.
All right, so I wanted to run through just real quick a list of what I see as secular themes in Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay. Snow, Santa, Rudolph,
Yeah.
Frosty,
Yeah.
Christmas tree, Grinch, mistletoe, sleigh ride, sleigh bells, home for the holidays, jingle bells, romance, all I want for Christmas is you, etc., chestnuts, which we never eat any time of the year,
Not even, no.
and peace on earth. All those things, they're just lovely, nice things, and that's all associated with Christmas.
Right.
And so if you're offended at people saying Merry Christmas, think about these things.
Yeah. Right. I said to a guy at work, Merry Christmas. He says, yeah, I'm Jewish. I'm like, yeah.
Well, lovely. Have a happy Hanukkah. I mean, that's great.
But yeah,
I'm sorry.
I have Jewish members of my family who have Christmas trees because they
Yes.
think it's a fun time of year.
Yes. Yes.
Speaking
And
of the-
if I wish somebody a Merry Christmas, I'm not saying I want you to bow down and worship the baby Jesus. You know how I'm saying?
Yeah, because it has. We did last year. We did the secularization of Christmas, and you just listed a bunch of things that in the balance of what you associate with Christmas between the birth of Jesus and those things that you listed. Well, culturally, I think we're leaning way more
towards those
that
things.
side.
And I don't want in any way to diminish the religious significance of Christmas.
Yeah.
That for Christians, that's fine.
Yeah.
But everybody, whether they're Christian or Jew or Hindu or anybody else, can celebrate the time of the year and the happy songs and the gay happy meetings.
Yeah, boy. There we go.
There we go.
All right. Well, to Santa's beard.
All right. Cheers.